You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? Who do you take me for, fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jaw fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go wiping it away, the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on the jar too? Ho ho ho. Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean the piece of cloth? Come, Rido, cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit it, then, Chief Gant, that you were hiding the cloth you cut of the victim's vest in your safe. Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all, but it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Rido. You should have shown it before it was too late. It's been a long battle, but the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Well, this time we have to show it. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who murdered Prosecutor Marshall. Huh. Well, time to do it. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh yes. At last, you finally brought it out to the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecutor requests that immediately be sent to the lab analysis. This handprint on the leather must be have been a strong impact to left so clearly. You mean it could not have been forged? It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Ho 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 ho. You're as slow as the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Rido had it all time to present this evidence, yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that? Mr. Wright, do you know really? Whose fingerprints must belong to the real murderer? Whose fingerprints are on there? Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person whose fingerprints belong to are... Emma? Emma Skye? What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma, but why? Why didn't you tell me? Ho 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 ho! You're really something, Rido. You knew that girl did it all along. You still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true, tragic but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor to his death. Hold it! How could you? You monster! Miss Skye, you knew whose fingerprints were those, yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Skye, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Ha! But I'm afraid it's over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defense is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you asked? It was Emma Skye, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is a fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth, what could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold the piece of evidence that contradicts the cloth. Okay. It's really easy, actually. What exactly is this supposed to be? This is a picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the base of the vest is cut out? Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait! There's no blood on it! Ugh! Since Emma's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword. No, this is nonsense! Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Sky, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor's sword? Ugh. Then make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death. Said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. Then he broke the jar on purpose to leave it behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That only personally cut out this bloodless piece of victim's vest. Ironic, isn't it? Though the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. No! It's finished. Oh, we got him on. Oh, that was close, Rido. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute all allegations. What do you mean you refute this allegation? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. Order, order. What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict the suspect. Remember, Udgy? Earlier, old Rido here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Rido? Do you have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's the truth. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth became legal evidence. That's not fair. Oh, did you actually think you could best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son. Not at all. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, true. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person, assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposely and illegally concealed evidence? I did not. Certainly. I refused to present evidence at one point. Aha! So the evidence is illegal. Objection! No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved with presenting evidence. No, Udgy! Don't listen to his lies! He's nothing but a coward! You can't let him! Objection! There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well. Let us settle this once and for all. Earlier you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation... So, we just go here, present. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, this guy's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at the point of time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. No evidence shall be shown without approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case. And here is the crucius of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove this relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and...